Good morning, dear Dharma friends. I think there's no struggle with the sound this morning. I have a tech support guy coming today at noon and have cobbled together a way to make it work this morning. So I'm Robert Beatty, or so it seems. I'm in my little house in the backyard of my home and just on the border with Beaverton, Portland, Oregon. And this is a broadcast of the Portland Insight Meditation Community. And it is Tuesday, the 10th of August, 2021. I'm not seeing Jim, and that might be because he's coming here to my house. We have a board meeting here in my backyard at 8 o'clock this morning. So I'll need to go end at maybe 5 till. And we have lots happening in board land right at the moment with the construction about to begin. It's so weird. We're just waiting on the city to give us the go.
Is recording on?
It isn't. Should I? I guess I should. Why not? It's a habit. Thanks, Had.
Recording in progress.
I learned something new about the process of permits yesterday, which does explain things somewhat. A project can get itself put at the head of the line by paying higher fees. And the big projects, the corporate projects, pay those higher fees. And so all other projects, anyone who's not willing to pay the extra tens of thousands of dollars winds up waiting until there's time. So it's a bribery model in a certain way, not to individuals, but to the city. So it'll happen. And I have a poem. It's not a poem. It's a little piece of prose from Pema Chodron. It's called Taking Your Armor Off. Taking refuge in the Buddha means that we are willing to spend our life reconnecting with the quality of being continually awake. Every time we feel like taking refuge in a habitual means of escape, we take off more armor, undoing all the stuff that covers over our wisdom and our gentleness and our awake quality. We're not trying to be something we aren't. Rather, we're reconnecting with who we are. So when we say, I take refuge in the Buddha, that means I take refuge in the courage and the potential of fearlessness, of removing all the armor that covers this awakeness of mine. I am awake. I will spend my life taking this armor off. Nobody else can take it off because nobody else knows where all the little locks are. Nobody knows where it's sewed up tight, where it's going to take a lot of work to get that particular iron thread untied. You have to do it alone. Taking refuge in the Buddha means that we are willing to spend our life reconnecting with the quality of being continually awake. Every time we feel like taking refuge in a habitual means of escape, we take off more armor, undoing all the stuff that covers over our wisdom and our gentleness and our awake quality. We're not trying to be something we aren't. Rather, we are reconnecting with who we are. So when we say, I take refuge in the Buddha, that means I take refuge in the courage and the potential of fearlessness, of removing all the armor that covers this awakeness of mine. I am awake. I will spend my life taking this armor off. Nobody else can take it off because nobody else knows where all the little locks are. Nobody else knows where it's sewed up tight, or it's going to take a lot of work to get that particular iron thread untied. You have to do it for yourself. So, dear friends, we come together in Sangha, in community. I take refuge in being awake. I take refuge in things as they actually are. That's a big deal. I make a vow of sorts to accept reality as it is. And I take refuge in the community of friends with whom I journey. And the long lineage all the way down from the Buddha. Uncountable times human beings have gotten up early, made their way to the Dharma hall, chanted a little bit perhaps, or heard a poem, and then we sit. Right here. We have many means of distraction and escape. There are many important in parentheses, important duties, responsibilities. There are the 5 hindrances. Moment by moment, we come home to the simplicity of breathing in and breathing out. And there's a quality of intimacy, of realness, of being mortal. That we bring to the breath, the awareness of breathing. One of the threads of our practice is strengthening this capacity to be intimate with, connected to the sensations of breathing. Another thread or pole of our practice is mindfulness. Awareness of what's actually happening. Knowing what's happening. We can know that our primary object is the breath. We can also know the presence of desire or aversion, or restlessness and agitation, worry, or sloth and torpor, sleepy dullness, or doubt. Between these two threads, concentration and mindfulness, the journey of our awakening unfolds. The human mind loves to think, to plan, to remember, It tells story after story, weaving together the experience of I am. Our goal is not to get rid of that. Instead, it is to awaken, and see it as it is for what it is. It's the story of our personality. There will come rather florid dreams, fantasies. Some pleasant, some unpleasant. There will also come awakeness, awareness of the thoughts as thoughts, of emotions as emotions. And we come home to now, to here. To this breathing in right now. Sometimes there are sounds. But these sounds are no distraction. They're just life unfolding as vibrations in the air that strike the eardrum and then create hearing, or they stimulate hearing. And all sounds have the characteristic of arising and disappearing. Sometimes the wandering mind lasts 1/10 of a second or less. Sometimes we even notice when the mind begins to turn to a thought. Other times we climb aboard and we're gone for a while. A short while or a long while. And then that mysterious, strange event happens. Mindfulness lights everything up. The dream that was so convincing a moment before is seen for what it is. Resting in this moment. Learning about the ways that the mind goes into trance. Come home to breathing in and breathing out. Sometimes impatience will arise. One of those important things on the to-do list will get rather intense. Or maybe discomfort, chronic or otherwise, will come to the fore. One of our most potent tools is the willingness to just sit still. To let the impulses to get up and do something come and reside, and then notice how they fall away again. They can be quite insistent. As we awaken now, it's so freeing to recognize mood, the mood that colors everything. Mood. We say, I'm in a good mood or I'm in a bad mood. What is a mood? What's the experience of a mood? And the question may arise, if there's awareness of the mood, am I? Is that me? Am I a mood? Or is a mood like weather? It comes and goes. Sometimes they stick around for a while, a long time even. Yeah. In just a little while, we will disband and go about whatever it is we're doing today. What if we were to take a vow of sorts? I intend to be mindful while driving. I intend to be mindful while loading or unloading the dishwasher. My shower this morning will be the most conscious shower I've ever taken. Not only bathing in water, but bathing in extraordinary gratitude for the fact of hot water. What if we were to approach every activity with gratitude? When you stand up from your meditation seat, gratitude for being able to stand up. When you put your toast in the toaster, Gratitude for the farmers, for the wheat, for the climate having been stable enough to grow the wheat. And so on. And please now let us come home to awareness of the body in its aliveness, in its sitting, in its shape, in its touching the chair. And now, awareness of the eyes and the intention to open the eyes. And the mystery, the miracle of seeing. Gratitude for eyes that function so that seeing really happens. Even clear seeing. Or if the seeing isn't clear, noticing the reality of light patterns. And let's make use of this amazing screen with little boxes on it. Wishing each other well. Picking a person and wish them well. And I don't know whether such practices have a magical effect so much on the other person. But I do know they have a profound effect on the person cultivating good wishes. The whole world changes. When we look at people, when we see people, when we encounter people, the mind has a tendency, a very strong tendency, to put people in boxes. It's quick. It's so quick we don't even really see the person. But with mindfulness, we can see the person. We can see the person and our own prejudices, our own stories about them. And then we can go beyond that. Here's a living person who breathes and walks and lives. Several threads running through this mind right now. in opening to the suffering of the world. I'm being really touched. I'm actually having to work to not stay obsessed in a way with what's happening in Afghanistan. I spent a little time there a long time ago. And the notion that the women and girls of that whole country are going to come back under Taliban rule is very unsettling to me. I'm not living in it. It's fairly easy to put it aside, to compartmentalize it. And I know it's not the only place in the world where catastrophe is happening, but somehow or another, it's really touching me. Makes me. It strengthens my practice in a way. To at least this mind I can strengthen so as not to fall under some dreadful ideology. So may all beings everywhere share in the merits of our practice. Announcements. We will decide, I think, this morning at the board meeting about the picnic, but I think we're going to have the picnic. Oh, in fact, I was given an idea yesterday. If you're going to come to the picnic, would you please indicate that in the chat? Or let's do this first. I don't know. If you're coming to the picnic, please raise a hand and wiggle it around like this, if you will. So 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe. So not a lot of people. Okay. Well, I think we're going to go ahead with it. We'll see what happens. It'll be hot. It's in a shady spot in the park. So I think that's enough announcements. I get tired of them. So, oh my goodness, I have about 5 or 6 minutes left before I have to turn into a pumpkin and greet people at I told them, I put a note on the door to come around the house, but the dogs will start barking soon. So is there an announcement you'd like to make?
Good morning, Sangha. It's Jessica.
Hello, Jessica.
Hello. Just in general, I wanted to share because I realized that regarding heat, and we have another heat wave coming up, and I realized that I had really slipped into, using the term of art, I guess, an unskillful habit of just, jumping to the future, getting all caught up and how hot it's going to be and how we have to prepare and what's going on and oh my gosh, is the garden going to survive? And meanwhile, these last few days, I've really only moment to moment appreciated just how brilliant and wonderful, the weather and the conditions have been. And so all of a sudden, just yesterday and today, I'm really, really, really trying to bring my mind back to the here and now and enjoy. And as you pointed out, like during the sit, notice the cool breeze coming through the window. Notice the play of light. Notice everything here and now, pleasant or unpleasant, but just really trying to get myself back here and now, because I just hadn't appreciated how much I was on that particular note. Oof, constantly, like squandering all this wonderful, brilliant, wonderful sense experiences, and just letting my mind take me to all the negative potential that can come with this darn heat. So I share that because it was really like, part of me was sad, like, oh, Dudette, I have been missing out on some good stuff. And then the other part was like, okay, saw it, at least caught it. And maybe I'll just be a little more present to enjoy what's here and now. And then what comes, try to just be with it here and now, instead of letting my mind build it up to all this negative. And then, of course, it's so easy to go off on the climate stuff. And not that that's not real, but that's not the truth of what my experience is here and now. Anyways, for what it's worth, thank you.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Oop. I think I'm not going to answer that right yet. It's one of our board members. Thank you. That's very beautiful. It's true. I had a picnic with my daughter Tara last night at her little apartment, and it was the most gorgeous evening I think I've ever been part of. The sky was elegant and the temperature was perfect, and we had really nice Thai food. It was incredible. So thank you, Jessica. It's almost a summary of the entire teachings right there. Well, I think it would be wise for me to end and call Allison back. So let's go out on Bhavatu Sabe Mangalam. I have a tech support genius coming to work with me on the broadcast stuff this morning, partially for here, but when we go back to the center, how do we really do hybrid teaching skillfully? And so this is a company that does that for churches a lot. So things should be very simple by tomorrow, by this afternoon. So let's go out on a chant. Bhavatu Sabe Mangalam. Bhavatu Sabe Mangalam. Bhavatu Sabe Mangalam. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Have a fine day, dear friends. May we be mindful and awake. See you.